Day one box. The day one box, Allan Rees-Bevan. Good luck.
"62, 63, 64. You know, on moving day, we're often in such a desperate flurry to get that last box on the truck that we hardly have any time to stop and think about which box we should get off first and which box we're going to need on day one. On our moving day, Mr. Contest Chairman and ladies and gentlemen, we had packed 67 boxes. And they were all clearly marked, don't get me wrong. This one was going to the kitchen, this one was going to the bedroom, this one was going to the bathroom, this one was a Toastmaster trophies. These were single socks, and miscellaneous. Now, in the inevitable chaos that ensued when we arrived at our new place, we told the removalists just to put all the boxes in the garage so they could unpack a lot quicker and stop charging us sooner. This saved us a lot of money, but wasted a lot of time in the long run. When you're moving on to a new phase in your life, do you know what you need to survive day one? Do you have a day one box when you're feeling boxed in, something that has everything in it that you need to survive the situation? I really wish we had packed a day one box. It would have made the move into our new house a lot better. The first crisis hit when we tried to settle our cat. Where was the cat food? Clearly in a box marked cat food. We rushed off to the garage and looked at our mountain of 67 boxes. The cat started panicking. I started panicking. The neighbors rushed over to see what all the panic was about. The cat started shredding boxes to try to find us catnip. We found the cat food in the very last box, box 67. Cat food would definitely go into my day one box. The next challenge hit soon after. I still break out in a sweat when I think about how close we came to complete and utter anarchy within the family. I can still hear my teenage son's screams of anguished withdrawal. My teenage son started ripping apart boxes. The neighbors came around again, and we were starting to get to know them a little bit too well at this point. Definitely into my day one box, I would pack the Wi-Fi router. We found the toilet paper on day 3. I'm not saying any more about that. Toilet paper would definitely go into my day one box. What would you put into your day one box when you're faced with the challenges of a new situation? You know, years ago, I was in another day one. It was the day one on a client project. And it was database work that I'd never done before. I was keen to learn, and I had a day one box back then. And in my day one box, I had a book. Databases for Dummies. Learn everything in 10 minutes. Well, can you imagine my client's face when I walked in on day one and put that book on the table and said, right, let's get started. Allan, should I be worried that you have that book on the table? No, you should be worried if I don't have that book on the table. You see, my boss had taken me aside the day before, and he had looked me in the eyes and said, mate, are you sure you can do this work? And I said, well, actually, I'm not sure of anything apart from the fact that I can't do this job. Allan, you need a day one box. And please put this book in that box. Also, pack these 3 golden rules, and you will survive day one in any work project. Rule number 1, go in with a can-do attitude. Rule number 2, don't be afraid to say you don't know. Rule number 3, always ask for help. Well, my boss was right. The project was a roaring success, and I learned a lot about databases. 11 years on, my client still teases me about that book, but he's still my client. And I still use that day one box on every new bit of client work that I do. Do you have a box of tricks? What's in it? Now, in some situations, toilet paper is going to do you fine, but mostly you're going to need a little bit more in your box of tricks for day one. You know, when I look back on our moving day, I realize now that actually I had packed a day one box. And in that box were treasures more valuable to me than cat food or toilet paper or even a Wi-Fi router. I had packed patience for when things go wrong, and they did. Kindness for when other people lost patience, and they did. A sense of humor. We laughed so loud when we found that cat food in box 67. And for all other situations, I packed a box of red wine. Without these substances in abundance, we would not have survived day one in our new house. What's in your box? What kinds of qualities do you need to survive your day one? You know, sometimes when you're considering what goes in the box, you sometimes have to look a little outside the box. Mr. Contest Chairman.